Panagdait sa tanan to our very respected Professor Dr. Rain Salomes. Sir, good morning. To my ever beautiful and handsome classmates, good morning everyone, and may we have a blessed day ahead as we discuss about this topic. I am your reporter, Claydimi D. Seniza, and I will be discussing to you the topic Developing Leadership in Others under the subject Educational Leadership and Management. While it is always great to be working on our own leadership skills, we should also think about how we teach others to lead. Now first, let us define developing others as a leadership competency. So developing others is defined as taking actions to teach and guide another toward learning resources in order to broaden his or her skill set and understanding as necessary for advancement to greater levels of proficiency and or responsibility. So the most effective leaders normally understand the need for ongoing employee development and prioritize it. They do embrace their opportunity to achieve more by helping others advance toward their personal goals, and by doing so, better serve the long-term growth and other interests of the organization. The reason this is so important is that another common trait of great leaders is they pay it forward. So they don't hoard their knowledge but actively share it with those who want to learn. So we could sum up this with a quote by John Quincy Adams: "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." Now, leaders are responsible for developing others. So leaders carry the responsibility of developing others and growing the next generation of leaders. So as a leader, you are responsible for developing your team members and preparing the next generation of leaders. So the decisions you make regarding talent development will have a lasting impact to an organization because your leadership competency in this area will help members maximize their full potential and be fully engaged. The question: why is it important to develop others? So by developing others for leadership, you can affect future growth of your organization. You can also help others reach the limits of their abilities, empowering them to be more involved with the mission of the organization. More personally, you can give your team members the types of opportunities you were given, which helped you reach your position. You can experience the satisfaction of passing on the qualities great mentors have helped you develop.
Now, what does it mean to develop others? So to begin thinking about developing others, I want you to think of a person who is influential in developing you and did a good job with your development. Now that you have someone in mind, ask yourselves the following question: what is this person? What did he or she do? How did he or she inspire you to grow and to be?
Now, I would like you to think of that real person who has helped you in your development within 3 minutes, and I would prefer some volunteers to share their thoughts of the qualities and actions of a good influencer or that coach you have in mind. And I'd like to add some music, for us to jive all while thinking. Para dili po tamingaw while thinking. Alright. I will be your DJ for today. So bear with me. Alright, it's showtime. Now, let me have some volunteers. Now let's have a checklist for your influential person if they possess such skills in developing others. So, first, recognizes development of existing talent as an important priority. Second, promotes an aspirational culture of eagerness to develop and use increased skills. So you already have the skills and now the leader should nurture it with eagerness. Third, provide clear feedback on progress. So no abstraction of comments, but rather having a specific, pointing which areas do you need progress. Provide guidance throughout employees' developmental processes. Employs a variety of activities and approaches to employee development. So guidance and providing activities for employees development. Encourage employees to take on more challenging assignments. And lastly, are always scouting for new developmental opportunities for team members. So we will need these qualities and actions of a good influencer or coach that we have in mind as we will learn the techniques in our discussions, because without these traits, these ideas on developing leadership skills in others will be much less effective. Now, how to develop leadership skills in others? So when you think about the development of team members, there are three central pieces that need to be in place in order to gain development traction. So if one or more pieces is missing, achieving success with the development effort is more difficult. So these are the three pieces you need in place for effective leadership development. They work together like the three legs of a stool, which would fall over without one or two of the legs. So don't move forward in developing others without all three. So the first piece is a development process in place. So this means that we need to create a standard process for developing others. So as soon as anyone shows potential or interest in leadership, you can take them through it. So the process could include an initial discussion about developmental goals, finding opportunities in which that person can learn and grow, building a personalized development plan together, setting up systems to hold the employee accountable, scheduling follow-up meetings with the employee. So this means that you as the leader have a clear and specific process and plan for the development in team member you are working with. So this includes things like identifying development opportunities, having development opportunities, creating development plan together, and identifying the methods you will use in ensuring accountability and follow-up. So the second piece is having a supportive leader who makes development a priority. So your employee should see you as a valuable resource or coach. So that person in mind, no? Remember the person who helped you to develop. So to be that for someone else, focus on this behavior. So be committed to the process of developing others. Help your employees select relevant, interesting learning opportunities. Help him or her stay committed to the process. Be a good example by working on your own development. Stay in regular communication with the employee about development assignments, and give him or her developmental resources and remove barriers to improvement. So in order to be effective in developing others, you will need to draw on your leadership qualities. So be committed to the development process and be committed to the person. Demonstrating your personal commitment comes by providing engaging development assignments, sustaining the process, and setting an example by building your own developmental plan. So it also means to communicate with team member and follow up on their performance and development efforts. So supportive leaders also provide resources and remove barriers to the individual's success. So the third piece is having an ambitious team member who is committed to the development process. Even your best efforts can only have their intended effect if a candidate is committed to the process. So, good candidates generally begin as one of two types. First is already interested, so these already have an interest in becoming better leaders. They'll be excited to learn as soon as you give them the opportunity. And the second one is the easily motivated. Some employees can become excited about developing if you explain the many benefits they will receive from the process. So they may then choose to make a commitment and stick with it. So despite your best leadership efforts, it will be difficult to achieve traction in the development effort if you don't have a committed candidate. So sometimes it comes naturally as team members will be motivated by you in taking interest in their development. But you can also spark their commitment by helping them see the benefits of development and more specifically what's in it for them. So this doesn't mean that it's okay to neglect team members who might need development for the purpose of improving their performance, but the more you can get team member engaged and get excited about the development process, the greater chance you'll have at getting results. So we learn and master new skills at incremental steps. So the following are the techniques in leadership development. So once an organization is committed to the goal of leadership development, numerous tools and techniques are available to accomplish that goal. So leadership development is the process which helps expand the capacity of individuals to perform in leadership roles within organizations. So the first technique is the use of assessment instruments. So nowadays, there are hundreds of different leadership assessment tools available online for hiring, promoting, coaching, and building talent bench strength. So one example is the BIS profiling test. Arguably, it is the world's most popular leadership assessment tool because it is simple and intuitive to use. Whereas other tests tend to focus on individual preferences, DISC measures observable behavior. So the four letters of DISC represent the four possible combinations: dominance, influence, steadiness, compliance. So a DISC test will consider whether you are more people-oriented or more task-oriented, and whether you are more reserved or active. So this provide employers with an indication of how a team member tends to approach a problem, how they are likely to react to a challenge, and what is the best way to communicate with them. Right. So second one is another widely used in leadership assessment tool is the Myers-Briggs Test Indicator, or the MBTI. So are you familiar with this? So regularly used for team building purposes, it divides everyone into one of 16 different personality types. These personalities are represented by the combination of 4 letters. So we have extroverted versus introverted, sensing versus intuition, thinking versus feeling, judging versus perceiving. And the best reason to use assessments in leadership trainings is that they help build understanding. Alright, so the second technique in leadership development is the 360-degree feedback. So let us all together read the definition of the 360-degree feedback process. So a 360-degree feedback process is a great tool for giving leaders clear feedback from their peers, employees, and managers. It creates strong motivation and specific focus to improve skills and performance. So simply put, a 360 leadership assessment involves receiving feedback from multiple colleagues. So this can be done anonymously or with the names associated. So it is suggested that you ask more than a handful of people to feedback on your leadership qualities, as the more responses you get, the easier it is to identify any recurring trends. Third is the coaching. So in coaching terms, you need a coach. So a coach can help you. Third is coaching. In coaching terms, you need a coach. A coach can help a leader identify skills to be developed, key strengths, and strategies for improvement. Coaching can focus on achieving goals within a leader's current job or move in new directions. So, coaching builds stronger leaders through self-awareness and sustainable changes in behavior. So, executive coaching is defined as an individualized learning process that enables managers to grow as leaders and achieve greater business results. So, executive teaching also helps leaders identify desired business results and the challenges impeding progress toward this goal. So, in addition to focusing on enhancing the leader's learning, coaching assesses the leader in developing strategies to achieve identified business results. Coaching is a more personalized learning process that is accomplished through a series of one-on-one focused coaching conversations and by having the leader gain feedback, observe his or her actions, and practice new actions or behavior tied to growth goals. So for this mechanism to be effective, the leader must accept feedback and be open and willing to make changes. Fourth technique in leadership development is mentoring. Such that coaching needs a coach, mentoring needs a mentor. So mentors help you focus and gain clarity on issues, so they may inspire you and provide encouragement and moral support when needed. They may also facilitate access to people in their network that might be a resource for you. So a mentor may also provide candid feedback that others may not. So let's read the definition of mentoring. Mentoring is a form of coaching in which a more senior person participates actively in the professional development of a junior person within the same organization. So, leadership mentoring enables mentees to see what great leadership looks like, as the mentor is technically leading them using soft leadership skills to effectively communicate, leadership skills to encourage them and drive them forward, and hard leadership skills to hold them accountability for real progress. Fifth technique is the leader-to-leader development. So pairing senior executives with leaders who are new to their role or an organization allows for mentoring that can result in benefits such as knowledge transfer, confidence building, and open collaboration. So, experienced leaders can help others understand the inner workings of the leadership team and provide a unique perspective to up and coming leaders in an organization. The sixth technique is the emotional intelligence development. So, let us read the definition altogether. The definition of emotional intelligence development. So, emotional intelligence describes the ability of an individual to be sensitive and understanding to the emotions of others, as well as to manage his or her own emotions and impulses. So, ultimately, executive development is about augmenting a person's emotional intelligence quotient. So, addressing this task in a group environment is particularly effective because much of emotional intelligence unfolds within an interpersonal context. So, to be effective, leaders must have a solid understanding of how their emotions and actions affect the people around them. So, the better a leader relates to and works with others, the more successful he or she will be. So, let us take time to work on self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. We have already mentioned 6 techniques in leadership development. Now let us have the 7th technique in leadership development. The 7th technique is work experiences, stretch assignments, and rotational assignments. So they are as one. So let's have work experiences. So work experiences are events in a leader's life that result in learning, growth and or increased capacity to effectively lead. So this is because more experienced leaders are likely to have developed a more complex identity in terms of knowledge, skills, and abilities required for the leadership role. So with more leadership experience, leaders accumulate role-specific knowledge, skills, and abilities, which allows them to become more effective in their leadership roles. So experience matters. The most valuable experiences push you out of your comfort zone, stretch your skills, and challenge your abilities. So experience is the past, present, future at once. So an experience is not a one-time phenomenon, right? So you can relive past experiences, reflect on them, and discover new insights. Your past experiences can help you navigate your present experiences, and your current experiences may prompt you to re-examine past experiences for new lessons. So future experiences don't merely happen to you. You can shape them, consciously seeking out opportunities to grow as a leader. A stretch assignment. So let us now read. Everybody, stretch assignment is a project or task that is currently beyond your level of knowledge or skill. So such assignments serve to stretch you developmentally by placing you in a challenging position in order to learn and grow. So a stretch assignment is a project or task given to employees which is beyond their current knowledge or skills level in order to stretch employees developmentally. So I think naabay naka-try ani sa ilahang workplace wherein there have na-stretch ang inyong skills and knowledge above your level. So this stretch assignment challenges employees by placing them into uncomfortable situation in order to learn and grow. So examples of stretch assignments: managing a volunteer or intern. So na ay intern, ay volunteer, and you are managing it. Volunteer pa jud ka. Volunteer ka mo manage sa volunteer. Next, implementing a new or significant project, participating in the strategic planning process. Wow. Organizing and leading an event or meeting, taking on and turning around a failing project. So ikaw ang take over and bisalo sa usa ka failed project. Next is rotational assignment. So as the name implies, it has defined rotational assignments. So it is a series of short-term assignments. So rotational assignments require some advanced thinking on the employee's next destination. So research shows that most millennials, present. So most millennials want to work for companies that will help develop their skills and provide opportunities to discover their strengths. They want to learn more about themselves and the world around them while taking on a diverse range of challenges, which make them particularly well suited for rotational assignments. So more importantly, rotational assignments introduce millennial talent to an array of growth opportunities within the company. So allowing them to map out an internal career within the company rather than having them look outside your organization. So unlike other types of temporary assignments, rotational assignments are more likely to expose your employees to more areas of your organization. Okay. Next, the 8th leadership development technique is the group-based leadership development, or other termed as team-based leadership development. Now, I'm not speaking of team building per se, nor am I talking about campfires, challenge or ropes courses, falling backward thrust exercises, or other hardly effective methods of development. I'm simply talking about developing a team or group of leaders at the same time together. So you need your leaders developed together with learning applications and concepts relevant to your organization. So by using a team-based leadership development, all leaders of a particular level or function learn these things at the same time in the same room, using each other as learning tools. Group-based leadership development requires leaders and potential future leaders to work in unison to develop executive skill sets, provide one another with high-value constructive feedback, enhance personal communication, break functional silos, and tackle real-world challenges in real time. And last but not the least, the future trends for the future of leadership development. So the Center for Creative Leadership, or it is a research and education company, has identified 4 trends for future leadership development programs. So first one is the vertical development. There are 2 different types of development, horizontal and vertical. A great deal of time has been spent on horizontal development, which is focused on competencies, but very little time on vertical development, which focuses on developmental stages. So the methods for horizontal and vertical development are very different. Horizontal development can be transmitted from an expert, but vertical development must be earned for oneself. Thus, there should be more focus on vertical development. Next is the individual ownership. So people develop fastest when they feel responsible for their own progress. The current model encourages people to believe that someone else is responsible for their development, like human resources, their managers, or trainers. So we will need to help people out of the passenger seat and into the driver's seat of their own development. So there should be a transfer of greater developmental ownership to the individual. Next is the collective leadership. So leadership development has come to a point of being too individually focused and elitist. There is a transition occurring from the old paradigm in which leadership resided in a person or role to a new one in which leadership is a collective process that is spread throughout networks of people. So the question will change from who are the leaders to what conditions do we need for leadership to flourish in the network? And how do we spread leadership capacity throughout the organization and democratize leadership? Thus, there should be a greater focus on collective rather than individual leadership. Last but not the least is the innovation. So there are no simple existing models or programs that will be sufficient to develop the levels of collective leadership required to meet an increasingly complex future. Instead, an era of rapid innovation will be needed, in which organizations experiment with new approaches that combine diverse ideas in new ways and share this with others. Technology and the web will both provide the infrastructure and drive the change. So organizations that embrace the changes will do better than those who resist it. So there should be a much greater focus on innovation in leadership development methods. So there you go, the techniques in leadership development. So leadership ultimately comes down to an individual's ability to take a group of people or organization and drive them toward a common purpose. So the best lesson that we should learn in this discussion is that we need to raise other leaders. So this means getting the right people for right positions and developing them to take leadership in those roles. So there's an old saying usually attributed to Confucius that goes something like, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So be patient with yourself and others as you look for opportunities to help others grow and improve. So you remember this Chinese proverb, which can be translated with something like this: give a man the answer and he'll only have a temporary solution. Teach him the principles that lead you to that answer and he will be able to create his own solutions in the future. So the next time you are learning a new task or new activity, something that no one else has done before, take the time to find a peer or subordinate that can help you with learning. They can grow alongside with you, building that new skill. They can share the burden of how that particular process works. So in that effort, you are building relationships because relationships matters. So you are also teaching them how to fish. So go forth and be brilliant teachers. Good luck and God bless. This is the end of my report. Thank you for listening, everyone. And once again, I am your reporter, Teacher Clady Midi Seniza, saying bye-bye. Adios, mi amor. Paalam. And here are my references for this discussion. Thank you so much again for listening. Bye-bye.